Saturday morning. It is February 17th. Hard to believe we are in the start of President's Day weekend. I'm your host, Kimberly Perot, and welcome to Wasatch Weekends. On the Saturday morning edition, we're going to show you how to make a delicious McGriddle muffin. Very good. You're going to want to definitely pay attention for that. Plus, Nuzzles and Company, their latest and greatest pet of the week, and Bill Humbert, the recruiting guy. We're going to talk about his award and his tips and tricks when going out to dinner for an interview. Plus, Gretchen had a conversation with Brad J from the X Games. All of that and more. But before we get started, let's take a look at today's weather. Now, this is arguably my favorite time and my favorite guest to join us here on Wasatch Weekends. I've got Josh from Nuzzles and Co. and a brand new furry friend. Josh, how are you this morning?
I'm terrific. How are you?
I'm good. Who do you have with you today?
This is Ocean. Ocean is a mom. She came from the Navajo Reservation, sort of near Shiprock, New Mexico. We had another rescue contact us and ask us if we could take 11 animals. So it was mom and her 10 puppies. So we took them all in.
I love that. Now, you had 11 animals altogether, and her name is Ocean. I love that. Is there any sort of fun nicknames that you gave her and all of her pups?
Yeah, so we call them the Ocean's 11 litter. So she is Ocean, and then a lot of the children were named after all the various characters in the Ocean's 11 movie.
I wonder.
So we had all them, and then we actually had one of those puppies get featured on Sunday's Puppy Bowl during the Super Bowl. So we actually changed that animal's name to Pando to kind of feature a Utah name.
I love that. She's such a pretty dog, and it's definitely unique compared to some of the other dogs from the reservation.
Now, yeah, I actually think she's a very beautiful, unique-looking dog, and it's interesting because her children are just a cornucopia of colors and don't really look a lot like her.
Yeah, she's beautiful. You can tell she's not a huge fan of the camera, but seems to be very mellow as well.
Yeah, she's on the shy side, and we're doing our best to kind of. She's been in a foster home for a little while, so she's getting acquainted with, oh, this is what it's like to live in a home and get constant love and attention, and she's learned that people are good.
And not to mention all of the fun treats that she's probably getting as well.
Yeah, she's getting spoiled.
Awesome. Well, speaking of adoption and events, you've got a handful of events coming up, especially one today. So tell me all about it.
Yeah, today we're going down and we're going to the Maven District, which is about the 9th South, 2nd East area. They revitalized that area, and most of the local businesses there are owned by women. And we're going to be there with, I think we're bringing 3 kittens and 6 or 7 dogs today, some of which are puppies. So there'll be a nice selection. So for all of our Salt Lake City friends who don't drive up to Park City regularly, that's a great opportunity to meet those animals. And then on March 2nd, Saturday, we're doing another event in Salt Lake City with a gym called Fit to Recover. It's a gym that focuses on community and fitness for people in recovery. And so we're kind of featuring, recovery for dogs, recovery for people. Looks like Ocean's going to take a step away. We're doing a fun event called Pups and Squats. So we're going to bring a bunch of puppies, and people will actually do squats and other exercise movements with puppies around.
Oh, that's my kind of working out, I'll tell you that.
It'll make it seem a little fun.
Awesome. Well, Josh, thank you for sharing Ocean with us, and any advice that you have if anybody's interested in potentially adopting her?
So, yeah, absolutely. Ocean will either be at our adoption center or the ranch, depending on what we decide to do today, and every day that she remains with us. And I recommend meeting her and just kind of spending some time with her. When you first walk in, it's going to kind of back off. But honestly, if you just sit in a chair or hang out for a few minutes with some treats in your hand, you'll get curious enough that she'll come up. And that's when you really start to kind of see how adorable she is and her personality come out. And I expect it'll probably take, I don't know, 3 days for her to loosen up in a home, and then maybe even 3 weeks to really show her true personality.
Well, she certainly looked snuggly in your arms until she decided she was over it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
She's a big sweetheart. The staff is all there.
And she's such a beautiful dog as well. So Josh, where can we go for more information to find out about the events, if we want to volunteer, how to adopt?
All those things are found at nuzzlesandco.org. I know there's a link to the Fit to Recover event there, and the calendar event for the adoption event today in the Maven district. We should have a link to the address and all that information on our calendar. And then for adoptable animals, there's Find a Pet there, and you can see all the animals we have, cats and dogs.
Awesome. Well, Josh, always a pleasure to see you and all those furry friends that you bring along as well. So we appreciate all the work that you're doing to provide safer and loving homes for all of these pets.
Thanks for caring about rescue animals and giving us some time and attention.
Absolutely. Now stay tuned. We've got a bit more on the show. We'll be right back after this. Now, our next guest is no stranger to the show here, and we are excited to have him back and to talk about two very important subjects, both from a candidate perspective as well as from a company perspective, and what it looks like when you are on the job search or you are looking for that next member to join your team. Joining me today is the award-winning RecruiterGuy.com, Bill Humbert. Bill, how are you this morning?
Kimberly, I'm great. Great to be interviewed by you again.
Absolutely. Well, thrilled to have you on the show. Congratulations. You've recently won an award. Tell us about the award.
This was really cool. Corporate Vision magazine gave me an award. They're in Great Britain. I didn't even know they existed, quite honestly. And it was the most innovative leadership talent attraction consultancy for 2023.
Well, congratulations.
And thank you. So they contacted me in, I don't know, November, and they told me I was one of the companies they were looking at. And we did a little interview. And then about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, they said, hey, guess what? You're the winner.
Well, I would say that your winnings are definitely warranted by the work that you've put in and the advice and the consultative approach that you take for both companies and candidates. So I'd love to just jump in and get started. Now let's talk about the candidate first. You've had the first round interview. You are going to meet the team, and it may be over a meal or in a non-traditional office setting. So let's talk a little bit about the manners and the tips and tricks that you may have for that. So how would interviewing over a meal determine if you're the right cultural fit?
Well, think about it. Many times what they'll do is they'll have 2 or 3 people at the meal. They may be probably the hiring manager, sometimes might be an executive, and 1 or 2 members of the team that you would be working with. And if you get this far, that means your skills and your experience have checked the marks that they're looking for. Now they're trying to figure out, if we put this person, it might, maybe it's a customer support position, maybe it's a sales position. If we put this person in front of somebody who's very important to us, how will they act? Mm-hmm. And that's the reason that this is just the final little check mark before you get an offer.
Absolutely. So you're going out to dinner or you're going out to lunch, whatever it may be, you're sharing a meal. And oftentimes, and I think it is a forgotten skill, is your dining etiquette, especially when you're in a professional setting. So talk to us a little bit about that. What should you order? How should you eat? Give us some advice.
One thing that's important is many times they'll ask you if you would like to have an alcoholic drink, and it could be even over lunch. And the answer is no, thank you. And then order some non-alcoholic drink, iced tea, Coca-Cola, I don't care. And so the important thing is they're judging you on your actions. And so if you go ahead and order an alcoholic drink, then in their mind is this his or her normal practice to have alcohol with lunch? That's not a good thing. So that's number one. Number two is order something that's not messy. And I'm not going to name. You pick one that is your favorite pick off that menu, and and then treat it. Don't talk with food in your mouth. The danger of that is spraying the interviewer, and that would be a game ender right there. Mm-hmm. So it's important to when you're eating and drinking to be very aware that they're watching closely what it is that you're doing.
Absolutely. Alcohol loose lips sinks ships, and especially during a job interview, you never know what may come out of your mouth. For sure.
That's right.
Now, speaking of, you mentioned food in your mouth and ordering the right thing. I would suggest using utensils or anything that involves a fork and a knife versus a messy sandwich unless you're taken to a barbecue place. So let's say you took a bite into a sandwich or the meal that you've ordered. Tell me a little bit about timing. How should you respond if somebody asks you a question right when you're taking a bite?
First of all, you need to understand that's intentional. They want to see how you're going to react to that. And too often people are kind of in a hurry. And so they'll try to start talking with food in their mouth. Don't do that. It's important to just, point your mouth. I got food in my mouth. And, I'll answer the question in a second. And they'll accept that. And then when you get done chewing and swallow, then you can go ahead and, okay, now I'm ready to answer. So here's my response to your question. Now, the good news to that is that you also have a little bit extra time to call up the best response to that question.
And it's the absolute truth. You have a little bit of time to buy in, but obviously be polite about it. Now, let's say you're on the on-site interview and they ask you to join for lunch afterward. Should you say yes? And is that a sign of interest?
I would advise saying yes. When I coach people on their job search, this is your chance to meet them from a more social perspective. At the same time, they're going to be cognizant that it's still an interview. So make sure that it's, professional. And for me, if you are on target with your responses to their questions and then ask them some good follow-up questions, such as, they've discussed a problem that they're having that they would like you to solve. Well, in my other job at so-and-so company, we faced a similar instance and we tried it this way, and this way worked really well. Have you tried that? And that gives them a sense for a little bit better sense for your experience and also how you think on your feet.
And that is an important piece of getting the job, is knowing how to pivot, for sure. Well, Bill, where can we go for more information to learn about proper interview etiquette and much more?
Well, go to my website, RecruiterGuy.com. And then in addition to that, my most recent book is Expect Success, The Science of the Over 50 Career Search. The person who gave me a 5-star review said, "You don't need to be 50. He just hit a niche. Pick it up at any age, and it's helpful for you." So I really love my book. It's the best of the 3 that I've written on career search. And I think that's a great book for you to use.
Awesome. And Bill, you've got such a great insight from that perspective, from helping the candidate find the job search, but you also have insight on the business side of things. Now, I cannot wait to dive into that a little bit further, but before we do that, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back after this.
That's good.
You know, I love when Kevin and I work together because we just make some fun recipes in the kitchen.
Yeah, and you know what? This one's going to be an easy one. It's one of those, if you got a bunch of people staying at your place, it's easy to just whip up real quick, put in the oven before you go out and ski.
And it gives you all of the different things like protein and the carbs, especially before you go out and ski. You can just grab them and go pop it in the microwave. It's going to rock and roll. But so what we are making are the McGriddle muffins. So I know people like that at McDonald's, but we're going to make our own version. So we know what kind of ingredients we're putting in them, and they're going to have just about the same taste and flavor, just all packed into a muffin.
The TV8 Griddle McMuffin.
The TV8
is what it is.
Griddle.
Because you've got guests coming in town. I've got guests coming in town, and this is something quick and easy.
It is, you know, it is so true. You want as easy as possible, as minimal pans as possible. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. So what's really great is we've got pancake mix, we've got sausage, we've got cheddar cheese, maple syrup.
Right here.
And then we're just going to use some water as well as, you know, whatever else that you feel like you want to put in. So it's kind of a catch-all. So we're going to do about 2 cups of our pancake mix.
All right.
So we've just got our regular buttermilk pancake mix. So I'm just going to start pouring it in here and guesstimating what about 2 cups looks like. So you don't want to use the whole one, the whole box, because we're not making that many.
Not making that many. I'm going to start on the sausage.
We've got the sausage.
Got to get that going.
All right, so that looks pretty good to me. What do you think, Kev?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
2
about
cups.
about
I've
2.
ever seen 2 cups. That's 2 cups.
We're
right there.
about at the 2 cups there. And then what we're going to add is about 1.5 cups of water and 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup.
Okay.
So if you don't have, you know, your measuring cups, it really is just, you can decide like what kind of consistency you're looking for here.
Here's your
So
maple
Kevin's going
syrup.
to pass me the maple syrup. I'm just going to add that in, and you know, I think it really doesn't matter how much maple syrup you want to put in this. I think the more the better, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Sweeten it up.
If sweetening it up, sweetening it up.
Words are hard.
Words are hard, you know, especially when you're making a delicious
See, you're all
McGriddle
excited.
muffin.
That's why. Because this is just, you smell the sausage going. You're pouring out that,
I can smell
that log cabin syrup.
the maple syrup.
My
You know, I am a
goodness.
syrup snob, and I blame this on my mother. I grew up I was born in the Northeast.
Yeah.
So Vermont maple syrup. So
So
anything.
did you have your own maple trees? You went up and stuck the tube in?
We went a couple, you know, we did that a few times when we were very little, but I prefer real maple syrup over anything else. If it's regular syrup, I don't eat it. So real
syrup
maple
snob.
syrup always, it's the
Okay.
best. So we did about 1/4 of a cup. I'm going to just add a little bit more here. And then we're going to grab, we're just going to add about a cup or 1 1/4 cups of water.
Water.
So if you don't have water, you can literally just grab a coffee
If you
mug.
don't have water, you're going to be really thirsty.
I mean, if you don't have a
That's
measuring
the
cup.
answer to that
and then you just
question.
fill it on up.
While I sit here and get this sausage going.
I'd say about 1.5 cups that looks about good to me.
Ah,
You know, we're just going to go
perfect.
ahead and pour this in here. There it is. And if you feel like there's a little bit much, you can add more of the pancake mix to it. And we're going to start on the low. And we know how much I love using my electric beater here
I
in
will
the
step
kitchen.
out of the frame for a moment. Well,
But there we go.
Very good.
Looking good. So we're just going to add the consistency, and it really is whatever consistency
is it like
you
a pancake mix consistency?
Exactly.
Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah. So we'll
Okay.
probably add a little bit more in here. You know, we've got our water, we've got our maple syrup. It's looking great. Sausage is cooking up. How do you like your pancakes? Like, do you like them a little bit on the thicker side, or are you more of a?
I'm a thin pancake guy.
You know, I like a thin pancake
Yep.
too. So we'll see. We'll see how
Not a
this turns
crepe.
out.
It's thin pancake.
Do you like crepes?
I do like crepes.
Do you know how to make crepes?
Yes, I do.
Uh-oh, looks like we might have to
have a
be
crepe
making
day.
crepes on
We could have a
on
crepe
the
day.
show. All right, looking good here. It just smells like breakfast. It smells like a Saturday morning breakfast.
Actually, yeah.
I know.
This will get you out of bed. When you start smelling the Jimmy Dean maple sausage cooking, it's time to get up.
It is
Rise
time
and shine, my
to
friends.
get up. And you just kind of keep mixing it in. You know, every Saturday morning when I was growing up, and even still to this day, every time I'm home and I'm visiting my parents, Dad makes pancakes for everyone. So, you know, he is the pancake connoisseur. So we're just making the right consistency so that it'll rise in these muffin tins. And you can make them in mini muffin tins, so they're like a little bit of a dipper and a bite.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fun. Or
That's
you can
fun.
just make it in a normal muffin size.
So can we give your dad the title of the pancake king of the Northeast?
We 100% can,
Okay.
100%. He still makes them to this day. It's Christmas morning deliciousness.
All right,
We
Mr.
have-
Perot, you just got a new name, my friend.
He's probably thrilled watching
He is.
watching us make
I'm
pancake
sure he is.
batter
All
on
excited.
air. The
He's-
sausage is looking good.
He's probably in the kitchen making it with us right now.
You know, at least in his heart and his mind, he is. So we're just gonna keep on mixing it. As we keep on mixing, I mean, that looks pretty good to me. And now, a McGriddle sandwich is usually, 2 pancakes, which is what we're doing here. And then you've got your breakfast meats, your cheese, and your eggs. But we're not gonna throw eggs in this. This is just a traditional pancake mix.
Is it pancake or pammon cake? Panama?
I say
Hammond.
pancake, Kevin. I
Is it
don't,
pammon? How many M's?
how many M's?
There's no M in
There are 0
pancake.
M's in pancake.
It's just a test. You know, I like to test you.
It's true. All right, this is looking great. So we're going to go ahead and add our cheese in, and we'll wait until the sausage is fully cooked before we put it in here as well. So if you wouldn't mind passing me the cheddar cheese,
There you go.
that would be great.
What's MFI?
Magnetic face integration
That's right.
technology.
You know, we have our little discussion with eyepieces of ale. Maybe that'll come up. We don't know. Stay tuned.
Eyepieces of ale, they really are great. We love having conversations with them.
Who thought eyepieces of ale would come up during our cooking segment? See how we just roll things together here? at
We
PBA?
do. You know what? It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
So I'm just putting you can put about a cup of cheese in here if you want to. I'm just gonna free eye it here.
It's free cheesing over there. Got to watch
Free
you every now
cheesing.
and then. This is a family show.
Sausage smells so good. I cannot wait to eat this. So we're gonna mix it in. So we're mixing in the cheese into our pancake
Take that
mix.
away from me. I don't want it on my sweater.
I'm just gonna get it all over Kevin's sweater. As you can see, it's looking good there. Now you can make it as cheesy or as not cheesy as you want to. I think we're gonna go
Moderate
average,
cheese.
moderate cheese.
Moderate
That,
cheese.
That looks moderate to
MC,
me.
moderate cheese.
Yeah. And as we do that, then we've got our cupcake tin here. So
Got
a
it.
muffin tin, whatever you want to call it. And then we can grease the inside of these or just pour it in directly and see what happens.
You want to grease it a little bit.
I want to grease it a little bit. So I'm going to grab some butter out of our fridge. You can use a cooking spray if you want to. Whoops, as I drop
So now,
it.
are we blending in the sausage?
We're blending the
Okay.
sausage into the pancake mix.
Okay, gotcha.
And then we're just gonna dump it all in here and cook
Gotcha.
it in the oven. You want your oven temperature at about 400 degrees.
Okay.
And then you do it for about 12 to 15 minutes. Or as I like to say, you can take the baking test by taking a knife, sticking it in the middle, and then pulling
Like
it
we
out.
did yesterday for your flourless chocolate cake.
Exactly. You just do that, and then when you do that, if it comes out clean, then you know that your pancake or your muffin is finished.
Clean and mean. Love
Clean
it.
and mean. So we're just doing a quick little grease here on the bottom of these pans, and then we'll grease the edges. Looking good.
Yeah, it is
Smelling
good.
good. I know our camera crew is excited about this one.
Every dog in the neighborhood is going to follow me around because I've got the scent of sausage in my.
And
Close.
who doesn't love the scent of sausage?
Seriously, who doesn't?
I mean, honestly, it's my
Vegetarians
favorite.
and vegans don't.
Yeah, true.
But not always, because like they make,
Things
like
that's-
Morningstar Farms, they make stuff that tastes and smell like bacon and sausage.
It's so true.
So maybe
Yeah.
I
so
made a
true.
false statement there. Sorry. I'll retract that statement. You can turn off my heat if you have a free hand.
I do. There we go.
Okay.
Looking good. Looking great. And it's, we want it mostly cooked because it is going to be, you are putting it in there, but it's okay because we are cooking it in the
It's
in the
only
oven as
12
well.
to 15
Yeah.
minutes though, so yeah, I think we're pretty well cooked.
Yeah, it looks good to me. All right. Well, these are greased. Are you ready to pour the sausage into our mixture,
I've never
Kevin?
been more ready than to pour sausage into the mixture. You
All
ready?
right, ready. There we go.
Don't get it too close to the hot.
And we'll give it a quick stir. Mix it in there.
Batter up.
Batter up, and then we'll just start pouring it into our muffin tins. Looking good to me.
Yeah.
This is going to be a delicious breakfast. We can also just dip these as well. When you pull them out of the oven, you can dip them into some maple syrup if it's not sweet enough, but I think we put a good amount.
I think so too.
It looks good to me.
Okay.
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and start pouring them into our muffin tins, and then during the break, we're going to pop them in the oven. We're going to rock and roll, and then in 12 to 15 minutes, we'll pull them out. We'll show you what it looks like. It's going to be delicious.
We'll be right back.
We will be. The X Games is always such a fun time of year in the world of winter sports. Gretchen had a conversation with Brad J. all about X Games and more. Let's take a look.
Welcome back to the show. Now I'm all smiles today because I'm going to do it. The man, the myth, the legend, Brad J. You might know him, X Games announcer extraordinaire, I should say, Olympic announcer, amongst many other. He wears a lot of hats. How are you doing, my friend Brad J? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for that. That's a very nice introduction. I mean, you and I have talked about it all the time. Just enjoying what you do
Yes.
is the key to life, and that's what we kind of found. What you've done and what I've done. It's awesome to be part of it.
Well, and I love this so much because, Brad, you are amazing at what you do, and the joy just
thank you.
flows through you, truthfully. And I have to share a little story because not only are you an amazing human being and really living out this dream job that so many people would be so grateful to have, you are such an inspiration and so kind and humble. And I really so many of us have gained a lot of courage and strength through you. I'm going to take you back. I don't know if you remember, but there was one moment where you and I were on the half pipe during the X Games years ago, and I looked at you. I was modeling, and I think it was maybe Dew Tour. I'm not sure, but I looked at you and I'm
Could
like,
have been.
yeah, I was like, how did you get where you are? I know it's, really far reach for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to do this. And you looked me dead in the eyes and you're like, oh, you'll get there. You want to do it, Gretchen? You get after it, you put in the work and you'll get there. And that I took with me forever. And now, it's so neat. 10 years later, I get to interview the athletes that I was. And a lot of that, I'm getting emotional, is because of you, truly, just having you look at me and be like, you can do it. You can do it too, So thank you, really.
Well, I mean, thank you so much for bringing that up, because that's really what the key is on that is like I said to you in the beginning, like put your work in and, have that goal in mind. And that's what I had. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to be this announcer and just keep taking the jobs and try to get the experience. And I remember telling you guys, sometimes you got to volunteer
Yes.
to get noticed. And volunteering, yeah. I mean, I volunteered high school baseball as an announcer and a DJ all at the same time, just because I was trying to break in and trying to figure something out, what I want to do. And that led to even DJing professional baseball. I worked for the Los Angeles Dodgers for, about six years as their DJ, because I was volunteering for high school baseball,
Cool.
So that kind of stuff, it really works. And if you're dedicated to your craft and you want to work as hard as you can towards it, I've watched your career grow and everything that you've established from one job to another job. And it just, it makes you feel pretty good that you might have had something to do with that, to motivate someone into the right direction.
You really do. And thank you so much. And thanks for reminding me of that too, because I remember early days, everyone thought I was making so much money. And I'm like, no, man, I'm doing this for free from the genuine love of it. And they thought I was crazy. So thank you. See, you just have to follow your dreams, know your truth, and create your reality. Now, Brad, you have so much that you're doing. Walk us through a day in the life of Brad J. Tell us what you just did, where you're going, all the good stuff.
Well, just finished up a couple of big events. We were obviously in Aspen X Games. We'll talk about that in a second. Was there, and then I went to do a World Cup snowboarding and free skiing event out of Mammoth, back-to-back weekends, and then flew home. And on the daily basis at home, I get up and I record and produce a radio show for Santa Barbara, California. It's a classic rock show. It's on ktyd.com. I do 7 to midnight. Cool. And I do this, and I've been doing this for 20 years. So I broadcast this show from wherever I'm at. So if I'm in a hotel in Aspen and I'm doing X Games, I'm doing my radio show for Santa Barbara.
Wow.
And it's also on the web too as well. So that's normal. Recently, I've just been signing contracts with establishing Paris 2024. I'm going to go out there and work for the Olympics. TV commentator there, and I'm not sure the sports, hopefully surf, skateboard, BMX,
Right on.
some canoe slalom. So excited about that. And that's basically it. I mean, when you're ready to go and you get on the work path, you're there and
You're
you're working
there.
and you're working and you're working. But when I'm at home, I still have to do stuff, and I still have to do my radio shows and my daily stuff.
So cool. Now, for everyone watching, obviously you literally wear all the hats and you're doing the coolest, raddest job, I dare say, on the planet. I mean, what would you tell people? Because I know we were just speaking about living your truth and truly going after it, no matter what it looks like. What is the biggest piece of advice you would have for others with just following their dreams and really how you got to create your own reality?
That's an easy one, because I always say to people to this day, like youth or someone's trying to like break into the business and they're
Yeah.
trying to get into something, they want to be an announcer. What I've always said, that you have to see, okay, look at what you do in your life and what gives you joy. Is it sports? Is it snowboarding? Is it skiing? Are you into music?
Right.
I mean, whatever that case may be, then you look into those fields for possible work opportunities
Right
that
on.
would fulfill that. Like, first, I was into music, always been kind of into that. Always wanted to be a DJ. I used to listen to a lot of radio DJs back when I was a kid, and that was something I wanted to do. And so I looked for that field and found my way into radio and being a morning show disc jockey, and did that. But that was just a beginning path. Then that led to the announcing of X Games and what have you. But I had the idea that I wanted to be in music because I loved music. And so I still to this day do that show after 20 some odd years.
Wow.
As I travel around doing all the other stuff too as well.
Right.
So find common ground in the things that you want to do and the things that you love, and see if you can make work out of it. Because here's the final on that. When I go to work and announce, let's say, an event, right? I'm going to an event. I'm going to go announce X Games. It's a super pipe competition. When I get there, and then that mic gets turned on and I'm on for the whole competition,
Yeah.
my mind just goes into competition mode, because I love competition so much
Right on.
that I literally get into the comp. It's not even like I'm working. I'm just like,
Yes.
it's go time. It's B. Brad J. Announce, and the score coming in, Sean White, a perfect 100, or whatever the case
Yeah.
may be. And you get caught up in it. And then when you're done work, you're like, wow, I actually get paid to do that. And I enjoy the heck out of it so much.
Yes.
So find something that you love and try to find avenues in that to do the things that you love and to continue to do that and enjoy it. Because remember, it's like, for me, it's like not even working when I'm at work. Yeah,
Right.
you travel and you deal with lost bags and planes and,
Oh, yes.
and this and that. But it's not working when you enjoy the heck out of it.
What is that old saying that when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life? It's truth. It truly is.
It really is.
Yeah.
It
That's
really
brilliant.
is. And if I'm tired and I'm just burnt and it's been so many days in a row, I still just be honored and feel fortunate that you get to do what you get to do on a daily basis. And, that kind of perks me up and go, okay, yeah, you got this. This is what you're here to do.
Brad,
And sometimes
who-
it helps put
Oh,
a good song on your head. And
Yeah,
that helps too.
I love that. I'm just thinking, because you are someone that now so many young and older people look up to, because you have created and carved this beautiful life for yourself. Who was the person that maybe you looked up to getting started?
Gosh, it's kind of a funny one, but
Yeah.
the one guy I'd have to look at, as far as professional announcers, not really doing what I do,
Right.
but doing mainstream sports. One of the biggest influences always been in my life was the guy that I would watch is Vin Scully, the guy who
right on.
he's passed away. He was the Dodgers broadcaster for years. And the reason I like Vin is because he could tell a story and explain what was happening on the field at the same time, still continuing with the story.
Cool.
So he'd go into a story and still call, that's strike one to the batter, and still go back into the story. That's strike two to the batter, and still tell the story. And what I always love about doing professional announcing now is like kind of telling the story of what they've done in the past, their rankings or what competitions they've won while you're announcing the event. So he's always been one. Al Michaels is a guy who's always done football, baseball, basketball,
Yeah.
Super Bowl, World Series. I mean, he's been around for a million years. And he's a guy, as a kid, I grew up to, and he was doing all sports. So to me, I was like, I always wanted to do more than one sport.
Right on,
And
yeah.
seeing guys like him do more than one and continue to do so. And the guy's probably like 70 something now. So I guess there's
Wow.
hope for me.
I love it. There is hope for you. Brad, I could talk to you all day. I was wondering, the very last question, what is one event that you have not done that you would be super amped to do or super stoked to do? Or have you covered them all? Bucket list.
No, I definitely have not. I mean, I'm a baseball fan.
Right
So being like announcing the World Series or something like that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Watching the Super Bowl yesterday, that would be amazing too. I've DJ'd NFL games.
Right
You know, I was an
on.
on-court announcer for the Clippers in the NBA, and I DJ'd in baseball, but I never got to be part of the World Series. And I always loved being the announcer.
Cool.
But in baseball, I was always the DJ until one time we were playing Colorado Rockies
Woohoo.
at Dodger Stadium, opening day. I'm DJing and the mic breaks on the field, and so the announcer couldn't do it. And they go, Brad, you got to get in the booth and announce the Colorado lineup.
No way.
So,
oh, that's wild.
I jumped and this is the opening day at Dodger Stadium. So I jumped into the
Wow.
booth, I put the headset on, and like any announcer, you'd say, and now the starting lineup for your Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, I was so used to hearing I said your Colorado Rockies at Dodger Stadium on opening day.
Right on.
And it's like your heart kind of sinks. But
Dang it.
yeah, baseball's the love. Football would be fun to be part of.
Cool.
I mean, I already do the Olympics. I've done 8 Olympics, so that one's already checked off the box.
Well, Brad, we adore you, and thank you for making this world a brighter place. Truly, you're an amazing human being. Where can people? I love you, kid. Where can people check you out? Where should they go to find out all things
Okay.
Brad J?
Social media, really easy. Just at Brad Jay and the letters MC. So
Awesome.
Brad Jay MC on pretty much everything.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we feel honored that you came on our show today. Thank you, Brad.
All right, and let's get X Games to stay in Colorado, by the way.
Yes, please. We'll talk about that later. I'll be messaging you.
Please do. When there's when they make any decisions or stuff's been signed, love to talk to you about it.
All right, Brad. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey, keep it right here. We have more of the show to come.
Now, our community of Park City is filled with so much culture and art, and we certainly love all of the artists that grace us with their work here on Main Street and beyond. Let's take a look at one of the artists so we can see all that they have to offer.
Hi, I'm Jordan Daines. I am a contemporary painter. I'm based out of Utah, and I work primarily with oil paint. I'm fairly obsessed with color, saturation, texture, and the perception that it creates in my work. It's the common thread that goes through everything. My work ranges from representational to abstract. My work kind of nods to different artists. I'm really interested in artists, abstract expressionists like Gerhard Richter and Richard Diebenkorn. You can see that in a lot of my more landscape-esque paintings. And then Wayne Thiebaud, Warhol for my more pop art. And then I kind of take things from those artists. With the pop art, I love the color, of course, the color, the texture, the cultural references. And then with the abstract expressionists, I love the creative process, which my work is a lot about process, and you can see that. I work in layers, and I have to work fast because it's oil paint. Oil paint still dries slower than other paint, but it gets tacky. So I do a first layer really thin, and then the second layer, and that second layer has become more important in my later pieces. Sometimes it's just like I just do like the whole background, and lately I've been doing little pops of color where I don't know exactly where, well, I know where I'm putting it, but I don't know what's gonna come through. So I do that thinner layer, and then I cover it all with a really thick textural, really loading up my palette knife and laying it down. It ends up with a fully finished painting, and then I add the last step, which is taking my palette knife and either running it straight through, and then I have different works where I'll do different designs, and that creates the finished piece. And it's always something that I'm not exactly sure how it's gonna look until I'm finished with that last scrape. I really like hearing what people have to say about my work. Because I'm the artist, it means something to me, but I am more interested in what it means to the person viewing the art. I've heard a lot of different things. I mean, my work very much is landscape with the straight lines, like aspen groves. I hear a lot of that. But I've had people also take, something that could be an aspen grove and then turn to the side, and then it just makes it fully abstract. So I really appreciate the viewer's interpretation of my work. I have some flowers that I've painted where people see different flowers. Then I have these other just really kind of gestural, kind of just more scooping paint out, and I hear poppies or I hear like leaves, looking up or looking down. Anyway, so it's what I talked about earlier about the perception that the color, the texture, the saturation. I've had people tell me they'll see the painted part as the tree and the scrape part as the background. And then other people will see it vice versa. So it's like an optical illusion. I really appreciate that, and that's what I'm trying to accomplish.
Now, I certainly hope you enjoyed this Saturday morning edition of Wasatch Weekends. I know I did. I loved our muffin McGriddles that we made in the kitchen. They were quite delicious. A great snack to take out on the slopes for this weekend and to share with your friends and family. I'm your host, Kimberly Perot, and thanks for joining.